Wow, how are you? Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody, it's Joe Blackburn, and I'm here to say blah, 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 blah. 8:15, quarter after 8. Blah.
Oh, boy. How are you? How are you? Blurry Creatures. Wearing the swag. Excited to have Blurry Creatures on. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
There we go. There we go.
What do you think?
Look at that. I got this for you, too. Check it. Got the Sasquatch hat coming to you.
I can't. Hold it up. Hold it up. A little higher. Oh.
It's coming to you.
That's a thing of beauty. It's a very popular podcast, and very excited to have you on. And now get rid of him, Ralph. I'm going to do a little bit of.
Get rid of me.
No, not yet. You know how it is. I'm going to do a little I'm going to do some shenanigans, and then Ralph. When are we back? What did we say? January what?
January 8th. We'll be back January 8th.
Okay, now get off. Get off. Hey, you know, I have an idea, Ralph. Actually, he's doing a travel show. And I'm thinking WGN, but then I also had a conversation with some people in Monaco, and they have a travel channel, and they're looking for, and it plays all over Europe, and they're looking for American travel programs. So those are the two big surprises, but I'll talk to you off the air. Here is something that will stay with you. You ready? Everybody in the studio audience will stay with you. This is my home. This is Muller Manor. Welcome. Chicken face. Okay, you promise every Monday at 7 to be here. It'll be a little slice of heaven. This is the Lion's Den. I hope you did that before you. This is where the angels and devils fight. They're choosing up sides tonight. Me, I'm part man, part monkey, part mystery, and the angels and the devils are playing tug of war with my personality. Who will win? I think God's winning. Someone said to me today, "Are you getting closer to God?" What's it? It's a Buick dealership in Barrington. Marquette? What's the guy's name? Anyway, he said, "Are you getting closer to God or getting further away?" I said, it's tough. It's tough because the devils are coming after me. The devils are coming after you. If you don't have anybody messing with you right now, you're not doing something right. And anyway, no, and I've false prophets, all kinds of stuff going on. But God wins, good wins, all things work together for the good. I've been to the Middle East numerous times, was baptized in the Jordan River. And I have real theories. You know, it's funny. Some people are waiting for a prophet that a savior that's come. Others are fooled by false prophets. And, I really want the Holy Land to continue to exist. And under the hands of the Jewish folks, believe me, it's a lot easier to get around than those other places. And there are certain forces on this planet that if they can destroy everything that Christ was part of, they will. So I want to remind you of this. And I want to say that John 3:16, and that is the way. That is the way. I don't like this Pope hassling conservative priests and old school priests like no other Pope has in modern history. But I'm having my own things to deal with. I'm going to go to Blurry Creatures here in a second. Here's something that'll stay with you, okay? Here's something that'll stay with you. Remember the kid that got kicked out of school because he had that? Boy, is that the best. Here's the question. You ready? I promise you'll think about this. Does a straw have one hole or two? Quiet from the studio audience because what I'm saying is very interesting, and I don't want you to interrupt me. My wife packed my bags and told me to get out. As I'm leaving, she said, and I hope you have a long, miserable life and a slow death. And I said, so now you want me to stay? Oh, it's not the end of the show. I usually like to freeze like that at the end of the show. I had a Ford dealership with my brother in Missouri, and the day I found out I had ADHD is the day we got in the new Ford Focus, which I just thought was ironic. Also, you see this? You see this? You see how I dress? This is how I dress for today. And I just noticed when I go out, and maybe a uniform, it may be a nice uniform, but people have a uniform. Everybody has a uniform. You know, the hipster guys, the white guys with the beards, they all dress the same. The Casanova gigolo types all dress the same. We all have a uniform. I don't do that. I've never done that. And I want to say this Christmas, when people are over, this New Year's, you be you. You be you. You talk like you. You be you. You don't sell out. Life is short. And you be you. And this whole thing, my truth. I'm so sick of that. My truth. Oprah, I think, said that first. My truth. No, there is truth. There is truth. There really is. And then, just because you think something, like you may think I may think I'm a unicorn all I want and demand that you call me unicorn. I'm not a unicorn. I can sit in my Ford all day and say, it's a Jaguar. It's a Jaguar. It's a Jaguar. It's a Jaguar. It's not. It's a Ford, and I'm a man. A manly man. A man who likes to club baby seals and eat them. Yes, that's my truth. Yes. Have you seen where they question the people that are protesting over Israel? Just the dumbest gathering of people. And it's happening on the college campuses. Did you see the college campus leaders? It's okay to talk about genocide of Jewish people. Just don't do it. I mean, that's what they're saying. The head of Harvard. And you look at her and you know her history. And it's the same way the spokesperson for the White House got where that person got, where she should be saying, would you like fries with that? In a world where people are based, like I believe the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. had it right, which was let's judge people based on their character, not their skin color. But that's a different world now, isn't it? So, and when you're talking and they're not listening or they're just waiting to talk, stop talking. It's a lesson you can imagine I had learned myself. I learned it over the boom, 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 boom. Oh, get another one. Give Fauci more money. And a few of them are dead, and a few of them have had families that admitted, wow, man, Cal, you're right. And I talked and I cared, and they didn't listen. And I want it. Now they're dead, and I feel horrible about it. But at a certain point, stop talking. Just stop talking. If they're not going to listen to you, they love Biden. They love the kid sniffer. Stop talking. I had a girl that I like as a friend. I'm quite fond of her as a friend. And she said, celebrities are being replaced. Jamie Foxx, Tom Hanks, and she named totally Tom Hanks has been replaced. My friend Robert, my friend Ben believe this is a different Paul McCartney. Okay. And then she named two people that I know. Well, they've been replaced in the last 5 years. No, I knew them 20 years ago, and I saw them a year ago, and they remembered everything. Okay, now here's the deal. Steven Spielberg. You met Mancow, the new Steven Spielberg. You met Mancow with Mike Schwimmer and who's the guy that does the bad robot? Oh, J.J. Abrams and Mickey Rooney. Now remember, Steven Spielberg, you met the new Spielberg. You met Mancow with Mike Schwimmer from Windy City Novelties and J.J. Abrams and Mickey Rooney. Now, so if you ever run into Mancow again, I mean, these guys, I'll tell you, these replicants are incredible. And she wanted to argue, and I stopped talking. And she said, well, what's going on? I haven't heard from you. I said, yeah, because it's stupid. It's stupid. At a certain point, you have to stop talking. I just can't talk anymore. I can't engage you anymore. When it's something I actually know about. When you tell somebody about radio, that what you're hearing on radio is all fake. I don't believe a word out of Ben Shapiro's mouth. I was in radio. I just don't. You don't know. I think and I feel and my truth, and I don't give a shit. I know the truth. Gorka, man, Sebastian Gorka. We had bad lighting. We didn't think that show was going to happen. I sat down, it was in the darkness. He looked up at me like, what is this? And I thought it was a great show. And it's interesting that he's not American, but yet he said, if I decide to leave America, I'm un-American and a bad guy. I just simply don't know that I want to be here as we turn communist. I don't know that I want to be here as we have digital money. Okay? So, and I want to say something else, and this just happened a few nights ago. If you sneeze and I say, God bless you, that's my way. Okay? What you don't say is, who are you and why did you break into my house? Okay? Let's start the show. Pull the string. Pull the string and start the show. Start. Is it live? Is it live? Perfection to me is quite essential. I have to live up to my potential. Yeah, as we goof it up, I'm on. Is it live? Is it live? I was in a restaurant and a woman was lifting her skirt up and showing her thigh, a little petite brunette like I like, and I was looking at, and it was very flirty. And I don't cheat on my wife, but it was nice. It's nice to be flirted with, isn't it? Oh, there we are on our honeymoon. Oh, does that make you want to puke? Because if you were doing it, it'd make me sick. All right, let's go to Blurry Creatures,
Let's
Matt.
go. Hey, what's up, man, Cal? Thanks for having me.
You son of a bitch! Am I representing or what?
I love it, dude. Thank you.
Pow!
I got this hat for you. I'll send it to you. It's coming.
I want it. How great was how does the straw have one hole or two?
I'd say 2.
I'd say 1. Okay. What episode is the man cow episode of Blurry Creatures?
That's a good question. I should know this. Let me look right now.
Well, we'll all wait while you do that. And let me just tell you that I'm going to have the coolest person I've ever met in my entire life. And I've met everyone. And what's our show back? Did we say January 8th? Is that what Ralph said? January 8th. So just jump in here, Nate, as soon as you find out the
164. 164.
164. And
Yeah.
how would you rate my appearance on Blurry
10
Creatures?
out of 10. 10 out of 10. 5 stars. Let's go.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I loved it. You had a good story. Your Bigfoot encounter was wild.
You are close with Timothy Alberino.
Yeah.
The book is called Birthright. It explains how Jesus and God and America and UFOs and demons and everything relate.
We're actually releasing a book with Tim this weekend. You ready for it?
Well, that's me.
Enoch.
That's me agog. No, this is exciting. It's like when David Icke would have a new book.
Yeah.
Or Alex Jones has a revelation. These are things that excite me. I had no idea. What is this book about, Nate?
So we're putting out. I've been working with Tim like last 3 weeks every day on artwork. We are doing a Blurry Book of Enoch with Tim Alberino. He wrote the intro to the Book of Enoch and commentary, and we're doing original artwork to kind of explain the scenes. And it's coming out. Should be out before Christmas. And
I've read the Book of Enoch. You're not writing the Book of Enoch. I've read the Book of Enoch.
We're doing a version. We're doing a blurry version. So it's kind of a beginning of a lot of these books that didn't make the cut.
Jesus knew the Book of Enoch. Jesus quoted the Book of Enoch.
Yeah.
Correct? Isn't that not correct?
Yeah. Peter talks about it in the New Testament. Jude talks about it, and Paul alludes to it. So it's like this book that everyone in the ancient times read. It was sort of like,
So I'm not going to say it'd be like us quoting the movie Night Shift. Do you even know that movie Night Shift, Nate?
A little bit.
Okay, so I was with a group of people that had never seen Night Shift. Love Broker. Will you watch a movie for me?
Sure.
It's called Night Shift with Michael Keaton. It was our quotable movie. So, but this was just. Remember, everybody walked. I don't know how old you are, but everybody walked. Yeah, baby. Yeah, everybody did a bad Austin Powers impression for a few years. So it's like everybody in the culture knew what Enoch was. Everybody quoted Enoch, including Jesus and people in the Bible. From what I understand, I don't want to blaspheme. I don't blaspheme. I have blasphemed, but I hate it, and I don't let people around me blaspheme. Yeah. And I've had some people be offended, and some people tell me, to go take a long walk off a short pier. But blaspheming is saying Jesus Christ or God damn it or whatever in a blasphemy way, and say Muhammad, damn it, say Muhammad when you stub your toe. Don't bring my Lord into it. So anyway, let's so this have a holly jolly. Okay, so Enoch, you're not going to say aliens. What these angels were kicked out of heaven. They lusted after women.
Yeah,
they had sex with human women.
Mm-hmm.
This was the sin. Deformed babies were born that would rip out of the women that were giants.
Yeah.
These giants, when they spoke, the ground shook. You can see the big doors. You can see the big footprints that exist. And am I right?
Yeah. We spent a lot of time on our show talking about the giants, kind of proving the giants existed several different ways. We talk about everything from the Smithsonian, the ancient archives, that newspapers that they kind of brought out all these. If there's thousands of articles, we brought on guys who talked about the mounds here in America. They found giant bones. We've talked to all the experts that have sort of a different flavor for like, hey, how do you know the giants existed? So we've covered it probably 10 different ways on our show. And yeah, the Book of Enoch kind of alludes to where the demons come from, which are the disembodied spirits of these things. That's where we get the sort of the ancient understanding of what a demon is. And then these things were all over the world. They were building empires. They kind of got driven to the remote parts of the world. There was museums that you could actually go to, places like Lovelock Cave, Nevada. You could still see some of them in Peru, but you can see these elongated skulls. And there was actually one in Catalina Island as well. There was a giant museum.
The giants had the elongated skulls.
At least some of them did. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what Goliath was.
He could have been more like just. I'm not sure if the deformities came after, but he definitely was a giant for sure. Yeah.
Well, Goliath was pre-flood, right?
I think he was post-flood giant. He was
because I believe that the flood, which we know happened.
Yeah.
The flood was to kill all them.
Yeah, pretty much all the genetic experiments they were doing, everything. Giants were just one of many things I think roaming around back then. There was all kinds of weird stuff.
Imagine the ground trembled when they walked, and their voices were struck terror in regular sized people like you and me.
Yeah. So the narrative is they were there before. So I think the original.
Now, I'm 7 foot 14 inches. How tall are you? I guess how big a boy are you?
70. Wow, you're a big man. I'm 6'2" on a good day. So, not as tall as you, man, Cap.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I am going to I got a pole here. I'm gonna hang down. I want to see if this will work. I want to hang down. Let me see if this will work. I'm gonna hang down. I'm going to hang down, see if this works.
I don't know what's happening. Oh, look at that.
These are my big feet.
Look at that.
And I walk in the snow with these, and I freak out the kids in the neighborhood in Wilmette.
That's where all the Sasquatch footprints are coming from.
Could be Man-Cow Muller, Esquire.
This guy.
All right.
We hate the hoaxers. We hate
so how can I get a copy of this Enoch book?
Well, you can. I mean, Tim will send you one.
Enoch, who's there? Okay, so Enoch he lived to be how old? 900 years old.
He was an old guy. I'm not sure exactly how, but no, I mean, technically Enoch was taken. They say so. Enoch and Elijah, the only guys that didn't.
Right. And are they the two witnesses that will be back in Israel? When the shit hits the fan?
Or Moses and Elijah.
When the devils take over, when they finally, to the sea. Yeah.
Well, Moses and Elijah show up at the Transfiguration, so a lot of people think it's Moses and Elijah that are going to be there. But.
Do you know? I learned something about myself today that I have sold out to the Jewish media, and Howard Stern is now my boss because I don't believe in the extermination of every Jewish person because I believe Israel, and I've been there and I've talked to the people, and I also know the history of the Palestinians that Egypt could have taken them, Jordan could have taken, anybody could have taken them. They don't want them, and if you look at the history, you can quickly learn why. And I've seen a great deal of tolerance, but I want Israel to exist, and if you look at the footage. If you look at the pictures, Nate, of what that was, it was the surface of the moon. Do you know that Mark Twain was there? Do you know that Mark Twain wrote a book about it? And so I had a guy who had teeth, longest teeth I'd ever seen. And he's talking, you see, and he holds up a picture, and it looks like the surface of the moon. And you can see the outline of he holds up the picture for me in Israel. You see, there was people here, and it's the moon. It looks like the moon, and now it's forests, it's food. They could feed everybody. They were given all of the greenhouses. They could have made so much money. But, of course, the first day in Gaza, pretty nice land there, ocean front, could have been tourism, could have grown all the food. They were the breadbasket of the Middle East, but they broke out they broke them all up and destroyed everything. You know why? Because they were made by Jewish people. So, yeah. And it reminds me after the British left Africa and they took all the pipes and cut them up and made bracelets and shiny stuff, cool stuff. But then they didn't have any irrigation and water. And so then there was lots of commercials about how we should send money to help people. And we always should send money and help people that are hungry and thirsty. And that is the end of my lecture. Next time I'm on, I'd like to talk about the brontosaurus. Little head, big body, little tail. It's a Monty Python joke. Okay. All right. So your book is something I'll read. I thought Birthright by Alberino was great. So the book is called Enoch, and it's by Blurry Creatures.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the Book of Enoch. It's our version with Tim Alberino, so it's a joint venture. We're putting it out together. It's just called the Book of Enoch, and all original artwork.
Okay.
And there's a lot of different versions of Book of Enoch out there, but we get so many people asking us like, "Hey, which version should I get?" So
yeah,
we're putting out our own.
Well, really, really good to do that because it's in public domain. The Book of Enoch, who owns it? So that's smart.
Hey,
I'm going to put out "It's a Wonderful Life," a movie that went into public domain. Okay, so you don't believe that UFOs? You don't believe space people are demons?
No, I think it's more complicated. I think there's a whole entire. I mean, you're talking Nordics, reptilians.
Yeah.
You're talking Greys. There's probably. I mean, at least
the reptilians, and man, cow, do you believe it? I don't know. How could I? But the fact is, I've had many people talk to me about reptilians. My friend Robert Fleischman, the original lead singer of Journey, of course. Was he on your show or not, Nate?
No, not yet.
Oh, he'll come on. He's staying at my house here tonight. But he, he's been abducted. I had a brother that was abducted. Do I believe it? I don't know. Do I think sometimes it's demonic when they think it's space aliens? Yes, I do think that. I don't know what happened to these guys, but but the giants, those weren't space aliens. They were angels kicked out of heaven that came down here and raped, terrified women, and the ones that didn't die from the raping died when they gave birth. And regular sized man, the creatures, the inhabitants of this planet were terrified, and they go into great detail, and it's why. It has a lot to do with the flood of Noah and what they were getting away from.
Yeah, they call them terrestrial spirits, like the spirits of the giants are terrestrial. They're stuck here on Earth, and I think that, you had a sort of a commingling of two different DNAs. You had this heavenly angelic DNA with this human DNA, so their spirits were kind of doomed to wander here. But I think aliens are demonic. I think some of them are demonic, as in like they're not playing for.
Yeah, no, that I agree, but they're not demons. They are a separate thing. And I also think what was ever in the Garden of Eden that tempted Eve was beautiful, and I think probably reptilian in some way, and probably walked on two legs. So it was a snake. Oh yeah, there was lots of things here that aren't here anymore. So yes, okay, all right. So. UFOs. News Nation has been doing an incredible job. We had such incredible news this year, folks, and we're doing TikTok videos and talking about nonsense. The fact that isn't our conversation all the time. Didn't they basically get up and say we have pilots, we have space alien pilots, the government has them? Didn't somebody just in the last week or two, a top government person come out and say, yeah, we have the bodies of space aliens? And yet, that's great. Oh, Matthew Perry died. Oh,
yeah.
Am I not right that this is huge news? That the government had hearings, and do people even know? Well, look, if they watch MSNBC, they don't know.
It's the wild time to be a human being. I mean, this week's I've been a little distracted because we just had a tornado come through here, literally like quarter mile from my house this week. So I've been a little distracted. I haven't been watching the news as much this last week. Just been wild times. But yeah, basically you have a lot of whistleblowers. There's whistleblowers.
Where are you at?
I'm in Hendersonville, Tennessee, right where it came through.
Yeah.
So,
well, my house was destroyed not when I was in it, but before I lived in it.
Yeah.
My house was destroyed by a tornado. I grew up in Suicide Falls, Missouri, and I have to say that people, you don't understand, Nate. Like in Chicago, and there was one of the worst tornado disasters here, but nobody here cares.
Yeah.
When we heard those sirens, it was real. I saw funnel clouds many, many times. Yes, it sounds like a freight train, and we got in the freaking basement.
Yeah.
And I tell my wife, we'd hear the sirens here. I get to the basement, and when I lived in a high rise, we got to get in the tub. And my family was in the tub, and my wife was like, "You're an idiot." But
it's freaky. I mean,
no, they're real, and you got to take them seriously. Okay.
Yeah.
Is Bigfoot extraterrestrial?
I think some of them might be.
Do you believe in Bigfoot?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
are they? Well, I believe. Are they a positive thing or a negative thing, or just a thing?
That's a great question. We've been trying to figure that out. There's a lot of stories where Bigfoot seems to help people.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. Like maybe it's like humans. There are good Samaritan Bigfoot out there, right?
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
they're helping people. And then there are like terrifying
We
creatures.
called
of
it
the
the
woods.
Momo monster. We
Yeah,
called
yeah.
it the Momo monster. We didn't call it Bigfoot.
It
Some
depends,
call
it
him
depends where you
Sasquatch.
are. If you're in like East Texas,
Skunk ape.
you don't
Skunk
want to
ape
see
is
one.
another name. What are some of the other names?
You have the Sasquatch of the Pacific Northwest. You've got the like you said, the Momo monster. You've got the Yeren, the Yeti.
Richard Keel was a Bigfoot.
You've got the what was the British Bigfoot called? I can't remember what it was called. The Wild Man.
All right, I'll tell you something. I got a lot of phone calls on.
The orang pendek is one too.
I'll tell you something. We got a lot of phone calls on. Okay, and
What's
I
that?
think, is it a tornado? Is it a tornado? We got a lot of calls, and I mean, people are serious in our area. And I'm in Chicago, USA, run by a communist mayor, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon, and the Mothman.
Yeah.
And they were very serious, and they would call me out of the blue for years. The Mothman,
Dude,
it's basically a giant mangy looking bird.
Yeah, the Mothman is some of these creatures are more rare and they're the most fascinating.
Not in Chicago. Mothman sightings in Chicago are not rare.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? Where does it come from? They smell like sulfur. They got red beady eyes. They got wings. They fly. We interviewed this guy that said that he ran a museum in Texas.
Yeah,
kind of like.
Why you look around like that all the time?
Me?
Yeah. Why are you looking around?
Because I think the way my mind works, I have to kind of move.
But I'm looking at you right in the eyes. I mean,
Yeah.
we could be right now on Bravo, just looking at each other.
It's the way my mind thinks.
I'm still looking at you.
Visualize.
You're like Stevie wondering me.
Yeah, I am. It's for me, it's like I'm so used to doing an audio show. No one cares.
Hey, I get that. I did a radio show and you're reading and looking and talking, and I just did it to you where I went off camera and you were talking, and I know it came off as rude. Okay, Mothman, what is it?
So Mothman, now I'm going to see if I can keep my eyes on you. Mothman.
Come on.
It's hard. It's probably some sort of demon creature that comes from under the ground and comes out. It's associated with tragedies.
Yeah,
it's a hybrid. It seems like
there was a guy named Captain Fatty who made a living traveling around the world on a boat and keeping a blog.
Okay.
And I ran into him in St. Martin, and he told me that he had a squid arm that was gigantic come up onto his boat.
Mm.
And he said it had dinner plate size suction cups. And he said the eye was this big. And he said we communicated. Not
telepathically.
No. There wasn't any. It was like your dog. Your dog likes you. Your dog doesn't say anything to you, but my dog looks at me, a little peanut with love.
Yeah. And
he just said it was a bonding. And this arm came up and he touched it, and the eye looked at him.
Weird.
And they were in the middle of nowhere. And then another story that he told.
Yeah.
Is that he was. I mean, I just met a guy who took his boat from California to Monaco. I think he said, it took me 8 weeks. And they would go a great many days without seeing anybody.
Well,
so no, let me finish. Okay. So this guy, and I really believed him. And I have a certain nose for BS.
Yeah.
After having done this a lot. And he just said that in the middle of the ocean, there was like an entire city that lit up, and it lit up everything. And he was days away from anybody, wouldn't see anybody for days. He goes, there's cities under our ocean. He goes, or it may be something that's moving, a craft. And a lot of times when you hear about spacecraft, they come out of the water.
Dude, fascinating. Because this week's episode on our show, talking to Dan Duvall, who works with satanic ritual abuse victims, and it's about the marine kingdoms underwater. And 2 episodes ago, we had a guy on, professional fisherman, who filmed the mermaids were knocking on the side of his boat, and then he films them singing their song underwater, and it sounds like a choir under the water. It's like a cross between like
I got to see that,
a whale and like a screeching eel, and it's really loud. But he went viral on TikTok. It took me like a year and a half to get him to come on our show, but that's where our show is right now. It's underwater stuff, and so it's.
I don't want to be. I would say his name. And I wonder if I could track him down and get him on this show, but I had a. First of all, I've seen some mermaid footage, and I know people think mermaid like Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
You know, like the girl that what was her name?
Ariel.
Beyonce or whatever. No, the last Little Mermaid was supposed to be Beyonce, whatever. Big fat fish ass. Man, I like that boneless fish. Bone in. Ow.
Man cow.
Yes.
Wow.
With a capital M. You know, there's lots of Nates, there's lots of Deweys, there's lots of Ralphs, there's Roberts, there's Michaels, there's Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike, and then there's just one man cow.
There's just
copywritten. Anyway, no, I've seen the mermaid video, and they're not like you think. These things are ugly and terrifying, and it looks like an underwater creature. Now, this guy Jay, I could give his real name, but he did the Satanic Task Force in Kansas City, and they were targeting kids in at that time. We're talking the 1980s arcades. Have you heard this story before? Wow. Okay, so this is a good one, and I need to find him. And get him on. He's still a Facebook friend of mine, so. If you want to find him, go to my Facebook and see Jay. I have not seen my Facebook myself in years. I have not seen it in 10 years. Anyway, but I know he was a friend of mine on Facebook. Okay. Sorry. All right, here we go. This is horrible. I'm being lame here. Okay. So I have to work. I'm with radio station KOKO in Orangeburg. You couldn't hear it off the parking lot. It was such a small station, but I was working. And on Halloween, he wanted me to go out. He had gotten a tip that they were going to have a satanic ritual, and he thought it was all bullshit, and he didn't believe any of it. And it was basically just guys trying to get laid using Satanism, and they'd have weed and they'd have drugs and they'd get girls, and you want to smoke weed, and we're Satanists. And it was nothing. And much ado about nothing. And so he went out to the graveyard at midnight. They were going to do something. And he was hiding in the bushes. He had white shoes on. There's no leaves on the bushes, but he was tucked up in the bush as much as he could. And someone showed up in a robe, and another person showed up in a robe. And he thought, oh, this is interesting. And he's in the bushes with white shoes on. And he's kind of, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
He's kind of throwing dirt on his shoes. It got weird here. Does it sound weird?
A little bit.
Well, maybe that's demonic. Let me try this. Is this better?
Clicked. Yeah.
Is this better? How's this?
That's better.
Okay. So he's throwing dirt on his shoes, and he says it was thousands of people in robes. And they started chanting and doing stuff, and he told me some other stuff I'm not going to say here, but he said he saw a large goat figure appear in the fire, and there was just a frenzy. And when he came to my house, had wet himself out of fear. He was terrified that they would see him and kill him. And he said, had they seen me, they would have killed me. So, yeah, you don't want to mess with this stuff. And my girl that I was in love with, Carolyn Fisher, ran the Monterey Bay Rape Crisis Center. She worked there. Clint Eastwood helped us out several times, letting us do charity events at his place in Carmel. Sorry, I'm rambling, but we did have a lot of these girls over, and we would say, let's go to the police. No, the police chief was one of the 30 Satanists that raped me. Wow. And, just horrific stories. It's real. It's horrific. And, of course, Satan's done a very good job of being harmless.
These are the people.
If you don't believe in Satan, you don't believe in Jesus. And so, it's funny, on posters and all that stuff. And I see all the girls, I went to the AC/DC concert, they're all wearing demons, horns. Isn't it cute? Oh, man. Messing with tarot cards, messing with oh, man, you don't want that around you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Those episodes are the hardest. We interview a lot of people who've come out of that. Yeah. We sprinkle the SRA victims in here and there, but everything from shape-shifting to satanic ritual, it's the most bizarre. You have to expand your paradigm in the middle of interviewing people because they're saying things to you that you think, man, this sounds like a movie script, and you just have to go on your judgment. Are these people lying to me? Are they telling the truth? But satanic ritual abuse is real, and it, like you said, it happens in the places like Bohemian Grove. I mean, we know that there are these places in like Northern California, and there's other places on the coast where people go and prominent politicians, judges, businessmen, and they perform these rituals. And I think it all goes all the way back to ancient times when they were doing this stuff, and it was more out in the open. But yeah, everything's kind of gone underground. But I think that we're coming to an end of an age, and this stuff's going to start manifesting. Well, we're gonna live in a wild time. I think we're gonna kind of go through the 10 plagues of Egypt in modern times again. I think that's something like that's going to happen.
It's called the tribulation. And I hope I get raptured out of here. Well, listen, I have two friends. One is a very successful, well-known guy. his wife started getting into some things, partially because of a person I had on my show that spoke to the dead, who I thought was a gas and interesting. And then another girl that I know, just inadvertently, innocently, dug up some real demonic stuff. And one person I know started speaking in 3 voices fluently that were not of this time. One was a dead language. It's been dead for over 1,000 years and is now part of deliverance ministry and is still getting delivered. And just thanks God that it was discovered and that it can be righted before she's off to hell. And these tarot cards, these Ouija boards, this all of this stuff is a gateway, and you let it in, it's going to come. And when death around you, there's certain tones in music. Dave Mustaine told me about it, and I like Ozzy, and I'm just telling you. He said, "Look, you're opening up the demonic when you play this stuff." Dave Mustaine from Metallica and Megadeth, I think he would know. There are the rock stars that have told me that Beyonce and Gaga. I don't know if you've seen the new Gaga ad. She looks full on demonic. But Gaga and Beyonce and Katy Perry have all sold their souls. Is it true? I don't know. But
yeah,
we just and it's the subtle blasphemy too, right? It's the taking away of Christmas. It's just everything Disney produces now is a mockery and a blasphemy. And it's fun.
Yeah. You got some creepy background music to make what you're saying even more creepy. You there?
Oh, are you doing that?
No.
Ralph, are you doing that?
He's playing some creepy
Okay,
music.
because somebody's messing me. Come on, I'm freaked out now. Seriously, Ralph, is that
I
you?
thought this was part of the show.
Ralph! Will you call Ralph?
She's your friend, Ralph.
Wow. Anyway, these are normal people. Normal people. And if your wife, hey, I want to do this or whatever, it's Ralph. I know you're there because you just moved something. So was that you playing the music? Just jump on and tell me. Tell me the truth.
I was trying to give you some good background music, Cal.
Okay. All right. Okay. No, I was a little weird.
The Mancast show. I like it. Dramatic.
The Gremlins. All right. Look, I've talked too much.
No, I mean, I came from the music business, bro. I think that, you see a lot of this in the music business. I was in a band for about 10 years, smaller. We didn't get super big. We sold about 100,000 records. We got to tour with a lot of bands. Been on tour with, a couple of our bigger tours. We got to play Lollapalooza one year. That was fun. Got to see Your Backyard. And we opened up. We were there early in the morning, so nothing cool or fancy. But Muse headlined, and I got to watch them, and that was amazing. But
love Muse.
I would say that there were times when you were watching bands, and you were like, people are under a trance. They're under a spell, and you see how some of these artists are hand selected to be big, and no matter what happens, they seem to transcend. And there's other bands that you think are massively talented. They don't have the right. I don't know what it is, but they don't seem to break through no matter how hard they try.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's not based on talent. It's like there's some magical ingredient there that gets them to the next level.
Let me tell you what the magical ingredient is, okay? I was at the United Center and I saw Peter Gabriel. And during the planned demic, which is going to be coming back just in time for the election so they can steal another one, in my opinion.
No, that's the truth. Remember,
during the pandemic, I did a deep dive into Peter Gabriel and into Genesis of that era with Peter Gabriel. Anyway, I went to see Peter Gabriel's got a new Dark Mix IO and new music out after 20 years. And he said, "Look, I think we ought to let AI take over. Let AI run our world." And the crowd, oh yeah. And what? He's preaching we should let AI run. I my hand on a Bible. I have a Bible here somewhere. Anyway, no, I moved it up to my night table from here. I usually have it here. Anyway, Bono, the globalist agenda at every concert. So, the same people that vacationed at Epstein Island, the same. you know, there's a reason they preach what they preach, and they get promoted, they get played, and that's it. And it doesn't matter if their records sell. Look at these shows. Look at the ratings. Look at what's happening with Disney, and they still give us the same shit.
It's
Kathleen Kennedy.
right?
Kathleen Kennedy can't destroy enough shit that I love from Disney, and they keep doing it, and they've lost billions because it's part of the agenda. Agenda. Well, why would they do that? Why would they do that? They have kids too. Why would they want a drag queen reading to a preschooler? Why does a drag queen want to read to a preschooler? Ask yourself that. Well, why? Well, they wouldn't. No, they do. You wouldn't. We have to stop saying that. Why would they? Well, Obama has kids too. Why would he? Because they're bought and paid for.
Yeah.
You don't get to be Obama unless you do it right, unless you kiss the right ring, unless you sell your soul. Come on.
Amen, dude. I feel like
I'm telling you, a lifelong Peter Gabriel fan. I'm sitting there going, what? Let the robots take over. You know, I think humans have killed each other long enough. Let's let the robots take over. And there was other creepy stuff like that. The idiots. Are you listening?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to tell you, lifelong, and I've spent time with them. And I don't mean like, I mean love. And it's the first music that I played for my kids on the way from the hospital. I love Depeche Mode. And I'm telling you, and I've seen them many times. And this last Depeche Mode was full on demonic, satanic ritual. Satanic symbols, horns, devil, ungodly, vile, dark energy, man. I need light now. I need God more than ever. I know you do too.
Yeah.
And these are dark times. Maybe I'm just more sensitive to it, but man, that Depeche Mode show at the United Center was creepy. I think Bono at the Cube, which is, or the Sphere in Vegas, is very cool visually, but listen to his message.
Yeah.
Peter Gabriel said, you know, we used to think we were important, the West. I used to think the individual was important. Now I know the West doesn't matter and the individual doesn't matter. And people applauded.
Wow.
I don't matter. The West is the best. And all this other stuff is bullshit. You want to be a communist? You want to go live over in Islamic land? You want to throw gays off buildings? You want child marriage? You want pedophilia? Are you out of your mind? The West. The West. You want to go live in China? I've been to all these places.
Yeah,
they suck.
It's crazy, man. It's like the last domino here in America, and they want it to fall.
We are it, man. This is it. This is the dike. You remove this, the floodwaters come. Communism, slavery, digital dollars. Say goodbye to any god you believe in.
Yeah.
What do the Chinese do to the Muslims? They kill them.
Oh, I know.
LeBron James, I'm telling you, I've never met, and I'm not talking about the Chinese people. My friend Carol over at Jade Court, I love her. I have Chinese friends, whatever. I have straight white male friends. Who gives a shit? I'm telling you, the Chinese government, when I was over there in China, nobody. You ain't met anybody down south. You could pull a Klan mask off Robert Byrd, the Democrat, or any of these Democratic racists that want to keep blacks on the plantation, and they don't come. The hatred that the Chinese have for blacks, American blacks. Oh boy, do they hate them. That's something all over the world, by the way. That's something the entire world has in common. I don't get it. They don't like African Americans, and they'll tell you. And I still don't get the Jewish thing. I don't get it. All the patents, all the comedians, all the contributions, and I mean, we see it. I didn't see it, but we see it, right? My daughter's roommate is Jewish, and they got encountered by a crowd that wants Israel wiped out. That's a child. To me, it's the devil. That's what we're fighting. You know what, Nate? That's what we're fighting. We're fighting the same spirits that you talk about in Enoch. Demonic. Yeah. Good wins, God wins. Let's remember that. Let's say a prayer right now, Nate.
All right.
Lord Jesus, look, I know I'm not called to be a preacher, Lord. My eyes are closed right now and I'm looking down. Lord, I'm not called to be a preacher. I'm not an evangelist. I'm not going to save anybody. If my words have saved one person from going to hell, God, then my life meant something. And I ask you to forgive me of my sins, Lord, and my transgressions, and help me forgive others. And I ask you to bless everybody that's watching the show and everybody that hears my voice, and look after my children where they're not with me, and look after all of our kids, God. This is a tough world, and show people that are lost right now and in darkness, show them a little bit of light, and show them a little bit of love. And if they're questioning you, and they come to you with their hat in their hand and their heart is pure and they're asking for help, or they doubt, God, show them the way. Don't punish them. Don't punish them. Don't let them leave this life without the answers, God. Please. And I pray for our leadership in this country as well. And I pray that people would turn their eyes up to you, Lord, and not inward. Don't be afraid. Fear is mentioned 365 times in the Bible, and it's not good, God. There's a spirit of fear in this country, Lord, and the mark of the beast and the digital currency, God. Have people wake up. Have them wake up to this. Have them fight back against those that want to destroy the Holy Land, Lord. And we just thank you for your son's sacrifice. We celebrate his birthday. I don't know what day it really happened, but we'll celebrate on Christmas. Thank you for that gift. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. And I want to remind people again, on Christmas Day, I'm going to release a special episode, and then we'll be back with a live episode. I'm not working on Christmas. I'm going to be with my family. But Christmas Day, we're going to release an episode, and then I will be back on January 8th with the coolest person I've ever met in my life. Nate, I love Blurry Creatures podcast. Thank you in advance for the hat. I look forward to the book.
It's coming.
I want to thank DG. I want to thank Ralph Nudie for doing this for free. He's just a Man-Cow fan that didn't think I should be sitting at home doing nothing, which is fine with me. But Ralph, thank you for a great year. And to all of you, mad love. God bless you, please. Please. And be you. Don't be a phony for the relatives at Christmas. And remember to tell the kids what the season's really about. Okay?
Thanks, Man-Cow.
It's not about getting just a bunch of shit made in China. All right? As my mom used to say, shut up.